guys, it's Keegan. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video you guys requested a ton, so we're going to be talking about what it's like to be in a sorority, what's the time commitment, what are the events, what are some like the terms, like what do certain things mean. When I joined a sorority, there were so many things that I was like, what? Like, why didn't anyone tell me beforehand? I was so confused when I joined, and I don't think I realized what I was getting into. When I first joined, I was like, huh? I thought I'd go over a ton of stuff and basically just like educate you on like what it's like to be in a sorority, so you know if you want to rush or not, like if that's something that you're interested in. If you're like, I don't know if I have the time for it, I don't know if it's something that I would like, here is what it's all like. Also, let me know if you guys want me to do an advice video about virtual recruitment. I may or may not have like some little tips and tricks and insight into things that could help you out. Don't tell anyone. So yeah, let me know if you guys want that video. I also have other sorority recruitment advice videos. Like I have videos on like what to wear, my experience rushing, things that no one talked about that I was like, why did no one give me this advice beforehand? So I'll make a playlist and I'll link it down below if you guys want to watch that. This video is going to be like strictly for my experience. I always get dragged to the comments when I talk about my experience with things because, well, my experience may not be the exact same as your experience. I might be talking about an event that your sorority doesn't do, or that your sorority does differently, or that you know, like what I'm talking about is from my point of view, from my experience, and I'm not guaranteeing that you're gonna have the exact same experience, but I thought maybe a look into what it was like for me would be helpful for you. So please don't drag me if one little thing that I say is different from how your sorority works, so I get dragged in the comments sometimes. Also, I'm an Alpha Chi Omega at Arizona State, hence this shirt. I wore it just for this video for you. You're welcome. I'm not telling you to go in my sorority, I'm just telling you from my experience. So like if you don't go in my sorority, I won't be offended. I won't, trust me. I'll be like, good for you, like what? I am doing this video just to give you an insight into what it's like from my point of view, from my experience, that will maybe help you decide if you want to rush or not. Now that we've got the disclaimers going, I'm gonna take my credit cards out so no one like credit card frauds me. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna go through my calendar and then just kind of look at the events, talk about those, talk about some terminology. I thought that would be helpful. Okay, I'm actually gonna go from when I was a new member, because you will be a new member. Basically how this works: you rush a sorority, you get a bid. On bid day, great, everything's great, you're like, I'm in the sorority now. You're not a sister, you're not a member, you are a new member. I didn't realize that. I thought I get the bid, I'm in the sorority, I'm good, I'm set to go. No, you're not. A new member, basically, I feel like most people know the term pledge more. You're not like a sister, you're kind of like in this trial period of like, do you like it, do they like you being in it? We don't use the term pledge because it has like the connotation of hazing, which we don't do. I actually asked them when I was a new member if they would haze me, just to see if they would like do it, and they didn't. So yeah, no, I was never hazed. So we call them new members just so there's like not the hazing connotation there. You're not a member until you're initiated. Like I said, you're kind of in this trial phase where you have to learn about the sorority, like the origins of it, and then they're gonna see if like you're a risk. Like if you're in public snorting cocaine, you might get dropped. But if like you do regular people things and you're not like a risk and you're not like being super trashy, you're probably not going to get dropped. Getting dropped means like they remove you from the house. Also, like the official term of this is resigned. I'm starting off with all the negative stuff right now. Just keep this in mind that once you get a bid, you are not sister, you're not a member. You're kind of in this like, do you know like you crawl before you walk? You're crawling and then you walk once you get initiated. You get your bid, you're a new member. The first thing that you'll probably have is either chapter or your new member meeting. So new member meetings for me, we had them like every Sunday night. It was with my PC, stands for pledge class. Some call them MCs, which is a member class. I feel like we should call them MCs, but we call them PCs. I think it's just like tradition, I don't know. My PC is fall 18 because I rushed in the fall of 2018. It is all the new members. They'll go and you'll have a new member educator who's like in charge of you. Some call them pledge educators. If they call them pledge, we call them new member educators, and they just kind of go over the history of the sorority. They want you to get to know all the new members. It's pretty simple. Like you learn the Greek alphabet. So your first event will either be a chapter or a new member meeting. New member meetings only last until you're initiated. Once you're initiated, they're done. We normally had ours once a week. And then as for chapter is like the most like iconic event. No, just kidding. You'll see a ton of YouTubers being like, I'm gonna go to chapter. My sorority has chapter every Monday at 7:30. My sorority is very talkative, so it normally lasts really long. 9:30, 10 is when it probably ends at. Chapter is basically a weekly meeting going over all the stuff that's coming up this week. Also, keep in mind, these are not like the official definitions of all these terms. This is my interpretation of these terms. This is the Keegan definition from the Keegan dictionary of sorority terms. So if I like say something and you're like, that's not right, it's just my interpretation of it. How my sorority does it is we have PowerPoint. So every exec position that kind of goes over their slide, say what's going on for their position, what you have to like keep a lookout for. They'll talk about points, they'll talk about finance, like it's just like a ton of stuff. So basically in my sorority, how it works is like president, And then under is a ton of like exec positions: vice president of finance, vice president of recruitment, vice president of new member education, vice president of PR marketing. Like there's probably 13 positions, I think. Every position will go over their slide. We have informal and formal chapter, and it switches off every week. So one week we'll have informal, next week we'll have formal, the next week we'll have informal, so on and so forth. Informal, I could wear this. I could wear whatever you want. And then as for formal, you have to dress up, which when I was a new member, I was like, I don't know what to wear. So our dress code for it kind of reminds me of like an elementary school dress code. Your like straps have to be like 3 fingers or something. Dress has to be to your fingertips. You can't like be showing your stomach or like a lot of cleavage. If you wear open-toed shoes, they have to have some kind of heel on them, or you can wear closed-toed shoes. If you want to wear jeans, they have to be solid black jeans. They can't have any rips or blue jeans or white jeans, or you can just wear regular pants. I feel like a lot of people wear black jeans and a nice t-shirt, so a nice shoe, or just like a dress. In our formal chapter, we have our rituals. Sounds super culty. I know it's not. Ritual, I did not know what a ritual was for a really long time. A ritual basically is just like a ceremony that all the chapters do, which I'm not going to share because that's like secret. It's kind of weird. So when you're a new member, you don't get to know the ritual stuff, so you basically like come in late and leave early because you don't get to know that until you're initiated, which is fun. Yeah, most of the time in chapters you'll have people come and present their philo, or you'll have like frats come in, like say hi. A lot of the times they bring you food. I gained so much weight from all the food that people would bring us. Oh my god, there was like donuts and pizzas and candy and this and that and cookies, and like it was so much food. So most of the time I don't eat before a chapter because I eat dinner there basically. Chapter is always Monday. It's always a consistent event. You can always count on it. And then if you're on exec, our exec meetings are before chapter, and then we just go straight to chapter. And then after chapter on Mondays, we have our standards meeting. Some places call this something different. This is like a kind of negative thing. Standards is basically like a disciplinary meeting, how I view it. They're trying to make it more positive. Basically, if you messed up or something, you get called into standards, or you can call yourself in, and it's a board of people. So it's like the president, vice president of standards, risk management, and then the new member educators there, and then there's like a representative from every PC there, and you can get called in for a variety of things. Most of them are like not that deep. If your GPA is falling below like our stated GPA, like our sorority GPA, you have to have a certain GPA to be in the sorority. Like you can't have like a 2.0 and be in the sorority. You have to have like a 3.0, something like that. You'll go in and they'll be like, what's going on? Like, is there anything that you like want to talk about? And then they'll give you a sanction, and your sanction is like your punishment. So a sanction for like your grades would be like, you have to go to this amount of study hours, or if you get sent home from a day party for being really drunk, your sanction could be you have to be a sober sister, which means you have to be sober at the next X amount of events. You can also call yourself in if you're like having issues with something, or like you can't make an event. This is one thing that I didn't realize, is that sororities have points. It's based off a point system, so everything that you go to you get points for, and then you can only go, I'll get into like date parties and stuff later, but you can only go to like date parties and certain events like that if you have enough points. If you don't go to an event, you will get fined and you'll lose the points. So if I don't go to chapter on a Monday and I don't appeal it, I'll get fined $25. If I don't go to a bigger event, I could get fined $100 and lose 100 points. That's something I didn't realize, that sororities had points. I just thought it was like you can come to things if you want to or not. They're pretty all right about like forgiving you if you can't go to an event. There's certain things like if you have work or if you have a test the next day, they're not going to accept that as an excuse. But if you booked a plane ticket before the calendar came out, the calendar is like all the events and everything, then you'll accept it. Most of the time they'll only accept your excuses if it was before the calendar came out. Sometimes they can be pretty forgiving, sometimes not, but you can call yourself into standards and be like, hey, like I got fined for this, or like, hey, I did this. So we have an app that like takes care of like checking into events, all your points, and it's kind of interesting because I feel like no one would show up if we didn't, so it makes sense because like frats don't do that, and frats have such low attendance to everything. There's mandatory and non-mandatory point. Chapter's mandatory point, but a sisterhood is like optional. Like you don't have to go if you don't want to. So a sisterhood, I would say we have a sisterhood like maybe once a month. Our sisterhoods are optional. We have one a year that's not optional. We have our all house retreat. That means everyone needs to go. It's like 100 points, $100 fine if you miss it. We will have like a fun event, and then we'll do like some bonding exercises just to get to know more people and like on a deeper level. When I was a freshman, we went to Flagstaff and did those like extreme air course like rope things and like zip lines. Last year we went paintballing, so it's the entire house, so it's a big group of people. And then we also have smaller smaller sisterhoods that not everyone goes to. I would say maybe like less than 50 people go to the normal ones because some people are lazy. You get busy. It is what it is. We've had a self-defense training class. We've had like a makeup artist come show us how to do like a smoky eye. We've had like movie nights at our GLV. GLV stands for Greek Leadership Village. If you hear me say that, I'm basically talking about our sorority house. That's just what we call it at ASU. Other sisterhood events, we went to Disneyland last year. We go like every other year, so that's really fun. That one you have to pay extra for. For my sorority, dues cover everything except for like clothes and then like optional things like Disneyland. Some sororities have cheaper dues, but you have to pay for each sisterhood. So like the self-defense sisterhood training class, whatever, that I didn't have to pay for, but in some sororities you would have to pay extra for it. My sorority includes everything in our dues. Some sororities only include the basics and you pay like extra here and there if you want to do something like that. So sisterhoods are really fun. They're a great way to get like extra points, get to know people. They can be really fun. They can be really simple. It could be like a pizza night. That is our sisterhoods. Socials, date parties, formals. So I think that, do we have one every month? I feel like we do. A social, we typically have one a year, and a social is with another frat or like a sororities, and it's like a themed party. My freshman year, we had like a jungle themed one. So we all dressed up like in cheetah print and like la la la. And it was with another frat, and then like you go to a club, you dance, you have like, it's like, I don't know, they bus you there, they bus you back, and then you go home. They normally provide food like pizza. One time they had Mexican food. One time they had chicken wings and like fried chicken. Most of the time it's pizza though. And then if you're over 21, you can go to like the over 21 section, drink alcohol, all that stuff. Date parties are basically the same, but instead of having a frat do it with you, you get to bring a date. And most of the time there's a theme. One time our theme was drop it like it's yacht, so everyone dressed up with like little sailor hats and everything. We had a wig party. I swear to God, every sorority last year did a wig themed date party. Another frat doesn't come with you, you bring a date, and your date can be a girl, can be a guy. You don't have to bring a date if you don't want to. They bus you there back. A formal is basically essentially the same thing as a date party, but there's no theme. You just wear a dress. It's not long dresses like prom. It's more like club, like tight mini dresses. Typically first semester we'll have more themed date parties, and then second semester we have 2 date parties that already have their themes. So we have barn dance, so it's like a yeehaw country, dressed with like cowboy hats and boots and stuff like that. I feel like every sorority has these too. So they have barn dance. Some sororities have barn dance in the fall. We have ours in the spring, and then we also have Crush, which is like our Valentine's Day themed party, and you like wear a heart like around your neck and everything with your date's name on it. So those are all of our date parties, and you can't go to those unless you have the amount of points. Like you don't get to go to barn dance unless you like went to all your chapters and you went to all this and you went to all that. You need a certain amount of points, and every PC has a different amount of points because every PC has different events they need to attend. I feel like I'm overloading you guys with information. Every sorority has different little ceremonies for their new members, for their initiated, so those will be kind of spread out throughout the first semester. Historically, my sorority normally only does a fall class. We don't normally do a spring class. We took a spring class. I think almost every sorority took a spring class this year. Normally fall is pretty busy, and then spring kind of dies down because you don't have a new PC. You'll have those events a lot of the times. They'll be after a chapter or something like that, and then you'll also have like ritual and initiation practices. Those are just by like PCs. You learn all the little things that you do in chapter, like all the ritual stuff, and then you learn how to initiate the new members. You normally do that like every other week, I would say, and it's only like an hour. It's not that deep. It's just kind of like one of those little things that you have to go to. It's not that annoying to do it. You'll also have little mixers. So we had a lot of new member mixers with frats or like other sororities. A mixer is different from like a social or a date party because there's like no drinking, no nothing like that, no partying. It's like you'll be at the house and they'll have like a pizza party mixer, and you're just gonna meet people. New members meeting actives. Actives is another name for like a sister or like a member, like she's an active member. That's another term. You'll also have like Parents Week mixers, so like you'll have like a little event at the house. On Parents Week we have Symphony Brunch, which is like a brunch with the parents. Some people have like galas, however you want to pronounce it, which they do like long dresses, and it's like really bougie and like it's a whole event and everything like that. Around Big Little time they'll have a ton. I hate the word mixer. It just feels like an old person saying it and like trying to sound cool. One time we went to like a little skate ring, like a roller skating ring. Philo week, I swear there's always something going on. Like if you look at a calendar, there's not one week where there's not something going on. You probably spend 4 or 5 hours a week just doing like sorority stuff. Do you see how busy I was? Like you have to manage your time really well. During Philo week, there's a ton of stuff that goes on. My sorority's philanthropy is the fight against domestic violence. So we'll have tabling, like domestic violence awareness tabling at our MU. Like like around campus. We'll have about 2 or 3 percentage nights a week during our philo week, and then we'll have an event to raise money before our philanthropy actually starts. So we'll have pizza night or pizookie night, or we'll have donut night. Those are just to raise money. So like frats will come, sororities will come, pay money to like buy donuts or something. My sorority has like a video on our Instagram, like our IGTV, of like what that's like, our philo. So if you want to go see that, if you guys are like interested in like what is that actually like, that will be there. Philanthropy week is such a busy week because there's something going on every single day. You have your philanthropy event, and basically what a philanthropy event is, my sorority has one every semester. Some just do one semester. I would say a good amount do both semesters. So it's an event to raise money to give to your philanthropy organization. So again, like I said, ours is the fight against domestic violence. We raise money to donate to a local women's shelter. The minimum we donate a semester is $10,000, I would say. You raise money from the percentage nights, from like the pizookie nights, and then from your philanthropy event. How philanthropy events work is frats and sororities will pay a certain amount to participate. Like they'll pay like $400 or something as an organization, and then the sorority puts on these events. We have Kickin' It with Alpha Chi, which is the kickball tournament, and then we have GI Alpha Chi, which is like an army course kind of tournament. So you'll have different events. So like frats will play kickball, and then it's kind of like one of those like pyramid things, like whoever wins gets a trophy, and so that's really fun. How you make money from those events is you have to pay to play. Frats get really into it and really angry about certain things, and you're like, it's a philo, this is for children. Those are also things that you need to account extra money for, because we're required to attend at least one percentage night, so you have to pay to go there. So that's money they have to pay. And then you have to have a shift at like our pizza night or something for like an hour. Like you're handing out pizza, you're cleaning up, you're getting tickets, you're collecting money. And then you have a shift for the philanthropy. I was like the timer or something for a certain event. You'll have shifts for that. You won't be busy the whole time, but you do have things that you need to sign up for to help it run smoothly. You'll also, around Big Little Time, you'll be meeting with a ton of people. We have these things called Alpha Chi and Omega Sisters. You're randomly paired with someone that's an older that's taking a little, and then you guys will like get lunch or do something like that. You'll get your nails done. Most of the time you get food or like ice cream, or just like hang out and talk at the GLB. And that's also money that you need to account, because that gets really expensive if you go on a ton of dates. One time we had an event that was mandatory for nationals, just teaching us about like alcohol, getting drugs, stuff like that, like safety. We had a new member photo shoot one time. Big Little reveal, how that normally works is you'll have your new member meeting, and then there'll be the reveal, and then you hang out with your like fam afterwards, and you guys will like get food or like go to someone's house. Little events that like exec positions put on. So like Vice President of Intellectual Development will put on study groups in the GLV, so you guys get food and study with your friends. They'll make charts of like who's in what class, so you guys can like work together. Once you're initiated, you're an active member until you either graduate or resign. Resign means like you're no longer in the sorority. I feel like that's it. It can be pretty time consuming to be in a sorority, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like that might have been pretty overwhelming. If you look at a sorority calendar, there's at least 3 things going on every week. Second semester, there's typically more like senior events, but like if you're going into a sorority right now, you have 4 more years to deal with that. But I hope that helped. I hope that gave you guys like a little insight into like some terminology, into some of the events, into what certain things mean, because I feel like in sororities they would talk about like a philo, and I'm like, what is a philo? Like, what does that even mean? Like, I thought that was an organization, but you're making it an event. So I hope that helped. Also, let me know if you guys want me to do a video where I give you guys some advice for virtual COVID recruitment, how that's gonna be. It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be a change. Let me know if you guys want me to give you some things to help you feel more confident and to help you get into your dream house. I love you guys so much. Follow me on Instagram. If you're not already, subscribe to my channel. I have a ton of back to school videos coming up. I love you. I'll see you in my next video.